Residential real estate right now is probably one of the best places that you can make like decent money. I do like these little pre-rolls before the intro, but we do got to be selective because, man, Dan goes off the rail, especially when he's been fired up. Woo! You got hour worth of sleep last night because you got kids, that are doing crazy stuff. But hey, we sold the house today, so that's pretty cool.
We did.
Did we?
Did we?
No, we got to refinance. Close enough.
We did refinance. Got some money.
Yeah, making money.
That's a good point. We got some money to loan to people now.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Collecting Keys Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm Mike DeHaan here with my co-host Dan Austin, and Mr. Dylan Cook, the kid from Ohio, is out today. He said that he had like a corn festival he said that I think his family was having like a speed dating event. Is that a thing that happens in the Midwest or is that the South?
Speed dating? I don't know, but I think it was going to be something more like, I think they call it like a hoedown, like a dance where they all put their boots on and do some like a hayride too or something like that.
All of his like cousins come out and they all just hoe down together.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What people do on the other side of Mississippi is not my business.
Who knows? They're weird though, I can tell you that much. They are swing voters, so maybe they're swingers.
I mean, we know that that's true. There's always the most sexual depravity that exists in the most conservative areas. Like some of our scale members, they just sold this house today.
Oh, I hope we were going to talk about this. What a great place.
We're going to open it up right now.
Yeah.
Our members up in North Idaho, Kyle and Emma. Great people, by the way.
Awesome people.
What's it? The GOAT property buyers? Is that what it is? No, what's there? No, sorry, the property goat.
The property goat.
Yeah, the property
home buyers.
I know.
I was like, goat fuckers.
The goat fuck. No. Yeah, so the property goat is one of my favorite companies and brands that I've seen out there. And
it is. I don't have their shirt on. I wore their shirt the other day, though. It's a great shirt.
I know. I feel fortunate to have it have come through like our little group. But yeah, they had this house. They called it the Jerk House. And this has been a story that they've been working on forever.
I think it was Jerk Off House, maybe.
Exactly. That's what they're implying, Dan. That's what that means. So when they bought this house, I remember when they bought it a while back, all the initial pictures, basically the inside of it was all just porn, like that was cut out from like magazines that was just like plastered all over the walls. And they ended up getting this thing cleaned out and selling it. And they started posting more pictures as we were talking about today in our Slack channel. And they have like all these different, sex toys that are in there. They said that the guy had like turned power tools into like these different devices.
I saw when I went there, I saw the actual device that held the power tool that you would sit on.
Oh, did you used to go and hang out with the seller? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, he's my boy, dude. Yeah, no. Kyle told me he's like a 60-ish year old man and he had another house and a wife.
Oh my God.
So he literally would come to this place.
To the Jerk Shack, bro.
It was a real thing, dude. And I think he was just a closeted gay man that was deprived.
Yeah.
In North Idaho.
And that's kind of my point, right? Is it is literally I would argue, one of the most conservative places in the United States you can find, the North Idaho area.
I think it's getting less so. I would call like rural Georgia probably more conservative nowadays, but I agree.
You think so? I don't know, dude.
I mean, it's pretty conservative. They've had an influx of open-minded Californians there.
Because at least like Georgia has diversity. Like up in North Idaho, you have nothing.
No, they have segregation. They have like the people like Mason.
Segregation is diversity with lines in between. In North Idaho, there's nothing. It's literally just Whitesville up there.
That is true. That is very true. We don't get enough sun.
But it was like the most like depraved property I've ever heard of that was out there from this man that was obviously very, very frustrated when he could have come, no pun intended, 20 miles to the west.
30 minutes over here wouldn't let you do anything.
Yeah, Washington, we don't care. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, we don't care. Do what you want.
You don't even need to hide out. You can do it in your HOA and people are fine with that.
Oh my God. You can fly a flag that lets people know.
Totally. Yeah,
you support it.
Yeah, they call it a pride flag. You might have heard about them. People get very upset or they get very excited when they see them. No,
they have a different kind of pride in Idaho.
Yeah, very much so. But how did we even get on that?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know actually, but it was that house was wild, dude. Like this, I will say, is probably one of the craziest situations. Like I've seen grosser houses and like weird stuff, but that was definitely from a sexual deviant standpoint. It was similar to Aaron Beale's suitcase full of homemade sex toys, but this place was worse because it was like built. It was like purpose built. Like if there's zoning, this would be like a sex club. So
totally. It was like a custom thing that was on this hillside with this beautiful view of the lake. Like it was an awesome area with just this shack of whatever.
Yeah, that wildness.
But anyway, so Dylan's probably doing something like that in Ohio. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think he is. On the back of a hay truck.
On the back.
With a bale of hay.
It's true. Because literally all he said was, quote, I am not going to be able to make it. So I'm going to assume whatever I want to assume.
As a co-host, he should be able to share those things with us. But I feel if he's not comfortable to share that, that's okay.
So don't be afraid to hit up Dylan on Instagram at Dylan_does_deals and let him know that you guys are available to listen to him if he wants to share.
He also does other things, not just deals.
Perfect. We should really stop ripping on him because he's going to have way more money than all of us pretty soon.
Yeah. Dylan is crushing it.
Like between his business crushing and his Bitcoin that's just on a freaking tear. He's such a big like crypto guy, and he's actually like smart and he's not just like doing degenerate, like throw money at the wall stuff like we do.
Yeah.
But give it 5 years. He'll be probably one of like the richer dudes that we know, I bet.
Yeah, he's already up there.
Yeah. So if you want to figure out his information, go hit him up on Instagram, ask him for his mother's maiden name and the street that he grew up on. That way you can steal his money. But anyways, yeah. So get into business. We did refinance today, which is pretty good. So on one of if you've been listening to us for a while, a number of years ago, we had 3 properties that we had bought subject to that got the loans called due. We had to pay those off in cash, and we were able to sell 2 of them. The third one, we were not. We've held on to it basically free and clear for a couple of years. We finally just bit the bullet and did a refinance, pulled out some good dry powder on that. And funnily enough, it actually is going to like cash flow like pretty decent. Like I would have loved to have sold it, but it's not the end of the world.
No, yeah, it'll work for now.
Like the options that we had were, I guess, like taking like larger of a haircut on it or just being willing to hold on to it for a little bit more. A little bit more time. And that's what we decided to do. It's just cash flow positive and it's been doing okay. And then sure enough, just because of the type of property that it is, it's rented like almost instantly. Because we had it emptied out because we were trying to sell it. But then when we put it back in the market to get leased up, it got leased in like a couple of weeks, both units. It was pretty easy.
Are they both leased now?
I think so. She said the property manager, was it last week, said that she has someone ready to move into the second one.
Oh, sweet.
Unless I missed that. So,
no, I mean, you didn't miss it. You either created it or I missed it.
I could be fabricating that, but it's a podcast. Everything I say on here is true.
Yeah, it's all factual. You can fact check us. Nah, there's no way to fact check us. We can say where the hell we want.
Totally.
Honestly.
So a good lesson with that, though, is, sometimes you got to, if you get properties, you buy them well. So even though this was a SubTo, the whole deal was we did have a decent leverage point on it. So we had the ability to have some flexibility on what we did, which was great. Then also too, sometimes you do have to bite the bullet and do your less than ideal sort of situation or outcome. And that's fine. That's kind of part of business.
Yeah.
Right. But excited to get that one done. And then we had 2 of our nightmare deals that you guys have probably heard us talk about on the show over the years finally closed. We had our condo that, if you guys remember way back, we were unable to sell this condo back in 2021 because the HOA, the insurance policy wasn't enough to cover basically what anyone's loan size is going to be without a sizable down payment. And it took Dan, I did almost nothing on this. It took Dan 3.5 years to work with the HOA to finally get the insurance policy redone.
In hindsight on this one, we should have probably just bit the bullet and hired a lawyer up front and just said like, hey, either file like a lawsuit or I don't know. I don't want what an injunction is, but I kind of want to say it. So like file an injunction or something legal against this damn HOA and force them to do it. Because eventually that's what happened was I said, hey, if we don't get this thing sold because it's under contract now, I just said, I'm going to have to engage my attorney and they're going to run with it from here. And then all of a sudden the HOA, which is like 6 people, got an attorney, looked at it, made the change, and you're here 90 days later.
Lessons, there you go. But the funny thing is back then, right? Like the thought of having to front the money, we weren't as confident in those kind of conversations. We didn't really have lawyer connections. I think we actually met with a lawyer. I remember going to someone's office and trying to figure it out. And they're like, I don't know. You're going to have to do. It's going to be real expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was like, well, you're going to have to replat everything. And I was like, what? Like $5,000 per pop. But like, oh my God, this could be, nobody here can afford it. They can't even afford many things.
Yeah.
So like, how are they going to afford that? And then we're kind of stuck with it. So
yeah,
we're here now. And
either way, we ended up pulling a bunch of money out of that, which was good. And then we ended up paying the price for this deal that we were the smartest guys in the neighborhood for back in, was it 2020 or might have been end of 21, a number of years ago, where we got this property on 0% interest seller finance, which was great. It
was a great loan.
Here's something you guys should know about seller finance deals. When you go to sell a property, okay, the title company is going to go to the lender and say, I need a payoff statement. And they go, that's cool. If you go to like a bank, they'll provide that to you. If it's a seller finance deal, they can tell the title company to fuck off. And there's not really a lot you can do about it until you go and you get a lawyer involved.
And the title company's not going to move forward. They're like, well, we can't get a payoff, guys.
Totally.
We can't legally clear this.
Yeah. And so we had this whole deal with these people that did not want us to pay off their loan. And like a big part of it was we had in our documents with them that basically that we weren't going to like pay out, or like it was phrased in some weird way because of the janky lawyer that did it initially.
It was basically just say the line, and it was kind of contradictory. Like if we took it to court, like if they really refused, like we would have won. And I talked to our lawyer about this and he was like, oh yeah, you guys could go after these dudes, whatever. But they had one line in there that basically says we cannot pay the loan off unless we get approval from the lender.
That's right. Correct. So like we have to get approval from them to pay it off. And you would think that any normal lender would be fine with you paying off the loan. There was no prepayment penalty. They didn't want any of that. They just wanted to keep collecting the money.
There was also a due on sale clause.
Due on sale clause. Yeah. But then we went to sell this thing. We had it sold and the title company reached out for a payoff statement. And they were like, no, I'm not letting you pay off the debt.
And the tough thing was we used a third-party escrow company who's notorious for bad communication. And so then you got to go through them to the borrower back and forth. And then that takes a couple of weeks. And then you're like, finally, okay, we got to call these dudes. So I called our attorney, said, hey, call these guys. They don't like me already. And he did. And then they said, yes, we'll let you pay it off. Then they went back on their word. It was just this whole back and forth thing that took, I don't know, 3 extra weeks to get a freaking payoff. And then ultimately, I just basically said, hey, we'll put the proceeds that we still owe you in a trust account. I don't even know what a trust account is. Honestly, I've heard it. Like, I don't know how to get one. But I said, I'll put it in a trust account at our bank and just we'll figure it out. And then we'll pay you this $600 we owe you every month. And then in January, which is a matter of months away, the loan is due anyways, we will pay you.
See, that was the most insane thing to me was they were throwing such a stink when literally we have to pay a loan off in 4 months.
So stupid.
Like we were going through this to try and get ahead of that. And now there's 4 months left and they're like, no. And there's not like they're missing out on interest. No, it's 0%. Like there's no reason to not get the money back.
It's so silly. I mean, we still did okay. Like what did we net on the other one we sold? Because we got 2 houses from them.
Yes, that's the other thing is we kind of went through this the first time when we had a partial payoff. And so we knew they were going to be a pain in the ass again. But we figured because it was so close to the final payoff that it would be easier. But all in all, between both houses, I think we netted about 80.
Yeah, so we did okay.
Yeah,
over a period of time because we had to do like $20,000 down payment to get into these properties, and then we had the $600 a month interest only, which was paid by because there was 2 sets of tenants, right? And so they were paying us, and then the one moved out, and so we're like, well, should we renovate this house? Got in the renovation, and we're like, oh, this thing takes a lot of money. We're not going to be able to refinance it, so we sold that, and then the next one, same thing. The tenants moved out after 3 years, and they're just like, do we renovate this or sell it? No, sell it.
Just sell it.
Yep.
Totally. But again, like a good example of this is we bought everything at a good price. We kind of like squeezed the life out that we could. And then we sold them at discounted prices again and came out highly profitable because we bought them at such good prices up front.
That's how you do deals. You make your money on the buy side, definitely not on the sell side. Because even right now, I wouldn't say this is a great market to sell those in, but we found a good buyer that wanted them. And these were like 400 square foot houses on weird, but not great lots either.
They were tiny.
From a cash flow and just like a pay down, like a bunch of the, theoretical cash flow is coming from his interest pay down. Because it's not like we overpaid for them or did anything like that to get seller finance. Like we bought them at a cheap price, but you're getting $600 a month towards the principal pay down. And then we were still cash flowing with those things at under market rent because they weren't super nice on the inside. We just kept the tenants in place. So I think it was like a $2,000, I think gross, we were at like $2,000 for both of those when they were rented to the original tenants on a $600 payment. That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, and then the pay down was so aggressive over the years that we owned it. Because we owned it for almost 5 years. So we had like 30 grand paid down just straight across the board with that by other people. So they turned out to be fine, but still a pain in the ass. You're trying to get them all closed out.
It was definitely a pain in the ass and not at the right time because we had the condo thing going on at the same time. We have our other houses listed at the same time and like going through offers and declined offers and dropped offers and then all of our other flips and stuff that we're continuously doing. It was like a nightmare for 6 weeks probably.
We get through it though.
We got through it. We made money. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
If you are a real estate wholesaler and flipper and you want to be around other people that are looking to grow and expand your businesses in this ever-changing economy, then you need to check out our Scale community. Go to collectingkeys.com/scale and you can get all of the details there. But long story short, we are a small, tight-knit little group of serious real estate entrepreneurs that are looking to really make massive income and not just passive income through this ever-changing economy. So if real estate wholesaling and flipping is kind of your thing, go to collectingkeys.com/scale. You can book a call with me in there if you want, and I'd love to see if you'd be a good fit.
The thing that I like about real estate, the residential side of real estate, is it's so liquid compared to like a lot of different kinds of real estate, right? And especially if you buy right, you can kind of make a lot of mistakes and still make money because there's always going to be like some buyer for it as long as you buy the property right. When you're getting into like the larger stuff or commercial or multifamily, people are going to be so much more nitpicky when you're getting in because you're dealing with like smart money, right? That's going to have expectations. And then also too, like your mistakes are going to be significantly more expensive.
Yep.
You know, if you have something that like goes awry with it, and you're also kind of influenced by whatever the cap rates are doing.
Right. That's why like you need to buy at freaking like doing off-market real estate, buying at a discount is so key. Like the whole like SubTo, no money down or overpay because you're going to get seller financing. All that stuff sucks because you literally have no exit. Your only exit is to ride that thing out.
Dude, I got this guy that hit me up on Facebook the other day. Let me find his deal. So he saw me on one of the local Facebook groups and he's trying to offload the SubTo deal that he bought in Spokane. And as soon as somebody says that, I'm like, okay, deal definitely sucks because anyone that's advertised something like that bought a shitty deal.
Right.
And so let me read this to you.
Okay.
And so I said, yeah, I own a lot in town, but I need to be buying with equity, especially in this market. I was like, what's the deal look like? And he said, I'm pretty much trying to wash my hands of it at this point. The mortgage is at $354K at 4.5% interest, and I owe the original seller an additional $56,000. Okay. He's got like a wrap. He got a second position from the seller.
Yeah.
So $410K is owed total. I would happily sell it now for $450K. I'd be happy with that. It has a new roof, but needs some cosmetic updates, mainly flooring. And so I had him send over the fixtures. This property's maybe worth like $450, $470-ish, like maybe, right? And so then I was like sitting on it and he said that the loan terms are paying off the original 30-year mortgage. He says no acceleration, whatever the fuck that means. Okay. So there's no acceleration on the 30-year Fannie Freddie mortgage. That's good. The $56K in equity has to be paid back in 3 months.
Dude, what a bad deal.
But you have the ability to extend for 3 months. So he bought it on like a seller finance with like a second position that is due in like 6 months from when he bought it. And the most ideal situation, blah, blah, blah. And I said, so let me get this straight. You need that $56K paid down and you want an extra $40K on top of that. So you're realistically hoping to make $96,000 plus fees on a deal that you probably shouldn't have bought in the first place. And he said, yes, I bought it for the location and the interest rate.
What?
Well, apparently it sucks, dude. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Hey, dude. What were realtors saying for a while? Like, was it like date the rate, marry the house?
Yeah.
Well, apparently the rate cheated on you.
The rate cheated on him, right? The rate lied to him the whole time. But the point is now he has no options because even if he was to list this thing on the market with that second position because he bought it like a dummy, he's going to lose his ass. There's no way around that.
Yeah, you screwed up.
You know, but the thing is that sucks is like because of who this person is and how this deal is structured. Actually, I don't know who they are. They could be sitting on money. I have no idea. I'm assuming they're not because they did this deal. Who's going to lose is the freaking seller who thinks that...
Because they're still on the hook for the first position.
They're still on the hook for the first position. So this guy's going to put on the market. He's going to have it at like a loss, right? The HUD's going to show up. He's going to need to bring $35,000 at closing. He's going to be like, peace. He's going to dip out, right? And the seller who has a second position is going to have to figure it out at that point and either take a loss on their second or, I don't know, figure out a different situation or sell the house again themselves. But
yeah, they're going to be backed into a corner. So, I mean, if I was the seller and I was in the know, I'd be like, cool, see ya, take a hike. Hopefully you've collected some money from the guy.
Yeah.
It's going to be cheaper and easier to do that.
I know. Yeah, I have no idea. But I'm so glad that whole thing's kind of behind us, you know, but residential real estate, dude, like the only people that I know that are still super happy with their real estate businesses are either in residential or in like lending stuff. Like we're in both right now, which is working out good.
Yeah.
I got into a beef with a guy on Facebook yesterday beef. That's a strong word. I was debating him. I know it happens
surprising.
all the time. The great thing is about boomers is you can say minor stuff on Facebook and they get fired up.
Yeah, but you're like the boomer millennial version. Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to go get in a Facebook argument right now.
Dude, have you met me? Like 100%. That's what happens. My dad was 45 years old when I was born.
Yeah, so you just have it in your blood, dude.
I was born with like old parents, you know, kind of like doing stuff.
Facebook is where I socialize.
No, it's not like that. Like I prefer to have conversations with mature people. That just happens to be on Facebook is my bridge for that.
Which is where all of them are. So
yeah, but this guy, he posted a meme and it was like the meme of like the guy that's like looking at the girl walking by and the one that's looking up and is like jealous. So the jealous girl, so I guess it said real estate investors was like the dude, and the jealous girl said flipping houses for 12% ROI. And then the girl walking by, it said buying a $2.5 million plumbing business with $800,000 EBITDA. And I commented, I was like, bro, who the hell's flipping houses for a 12% ROI? It's like we get 300% ROI or 600% on wholesales all day. And all these people jumped on, were like, bullshit, not a single house flipper does that. And I was like, who are you talking to?
Not a single person buys a $2.5 million plumbing company for $800,000 EBITDA. Tell me who does that. That's not true.
I know, totally. Well, that's another thing. But there's like this weird I around real estate. I think it's because the operators, like the population of people that actually know how to make money in this business is so unbelievably small that basically they heard some like side comment that Brandon Turner said on Bigger Pockets 7 years ago. And they think that that's how the entire industry works now.
Yeah.
And so I had this whole thing and I was like literally our typical return on ad spend with our wholesales is 6.5x. Right. And then with, you have to use leverage, obviously the flips. You're buying cash is completely different, but that's a whole totally different business. You're also probably getting an SBA loan to buy that plumbing company.
Absolutely.
And so, if you go off like the house flips, you look at the actual money that we have in these deals versus what we make. On average, I was looking at our recent ones, it's typically 300 to 400% return.
Yeah.
3
to 4x easy. Yeah. On money out of pocket.
Because it's a business activity.
Yep.
And there's this whole weird stigma around residential real estate. And I think it's just because people don't know how to actually run a business or make any money.
They don't know how to do it. I mean, and historically, historically, a lot of people that even got into flipping before, like you have like the recent, I would say the last 10 years is people would find shitty houses on the MLS, fix them up and sell them for more. And that's like how it worked. It's like that barely worked. You know what I mean? And so then you have what people do now, which is like the professional home buying business, which is what we do. You're buying them at such a massive discount, not just because they're shitty, but because there's other stress or other reason, doesn't have to be stress, that somebody would want to sell for a discount. And then the lending and the capability of getting leverage is so much more sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you buy a business, for example, to use that as a reference, you're going to probably get an SBA loan because you can't just go get a $2.4 million loan. First of all, that's a fictitious thing. Like that doesn't exist. Like I've never seen a business or heard of somebody buying $800,000 of cash flow on $2.4 million. And if it did happen, most of that $800,000 EBITDA is actually going to your debt servicing because you're going to have to get the seller to carry some of it. You're going to get an SBA loan, and the SBA loan is basically going to put a second position on your house. They're going to do all sorts of shit so that you could buy this business and make $150,000 a year. And you're going to be so risky and so leveraged, where you can go get a $50,000 line of credit from a bank, $49,999 or whatever they'll give you for next to nothing, and that could be your funds to operate your flipping business. And then you can go and get a hard money loan with construction funds, say for a 10% down payment, which is an average, say your average loan is $250,000, that's $25,000. You've got a $50,000 line of credit. There's your down payment plus closing costs, plus the first set of rehab before you do your first draw. Like that's easy. Mm-hmm. Like you can do that. And that is not like selling your firstborn child to buy a sinking business.
Totally. And even if they make you sign a personal guarantee of a hard money loan, which they all will, they're not going to pursue that personal guarantee as long as the house still covers the value of the loan.
Right.
That's what they want to do. They'll just take the house from you and they'll sell it. They'll recover the loan. You'll have a bad record on your credit, but they're not going to go and pursue more. Versus that plumbing business that you go and you get the big loan on, you can make that thing worth zero by mismanaging it.
Yes.
And losing all of your revenue.
Yes.
Right? It's not like a house that like is still going to be worth something if you fuck up the renovation. With the plumbing business, if you piss off all the staff and the partner that was there that was involved, he leaves. and then all of your trucks that you have in your plumbing business have maintenance issues that are adding liabilities to your books. That happens. Now your $2.4 million business that you bought is only worth $1 million if you're lucky, and cash flow is nothing, but you still are on the hook for that huge SBA loan.
The SBA wants their money.
Yeah.
And it's a 10-year note, amortized, and it's got like 9 to 10% interest, and your payment's going to be fat.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to take your house right away.
It's going to be so fascinating to see how this like Cody Sanchez, like business buying group of people pan out over the next like 5 years. Because like compared to the other kind of fads that we've seen, right? If you look at like the multifamily stuff, we're already seeing how that's going, right? Yeah. We called that years and years ago. All those people are losing their ass. Even the biggest names out there, they're all like going on these little, if they haven't just ghosted all their investors, they're going on Zoom calls and basically saying, hey, sorry, you're fucked. All those people are gone, right? We've had the SubTo people, which we're starting to see kind of him crashing down with like the guy that hit me up on Facebook. And that's slightly less, I would say, like high profile and maybe a little bit more forgiving. But this SBA stuff, dude, like imagine that. You're like some young couple who bought into the Cody Sanchez thing and you convince like, I don't know, what's a weird business someone buys? Like a vent cleaning company, and some 75-year-old boomer like fudges his numbers and gets you to buy this shitty business that has made no money for 30 years so that he can retire now with this SBA loan, the money that he's going to be getting. He'll be scot-free. And now you're going to go through and you have this 10-year amortized loan that's going to require you to be making $15,000 a month payments. Right. And then the business turns out to be trash.
Yeah.
I don't know how you recover from that without filing bankruptcy.
Yeah. Or you realize that business owner had spent a lot of time, 30, 40 years building that.
Those relationships and everything. And now they're all gone. They all went with Daryl, who's like no longer there.
Ed. Yeah, Ed took him with him.
Yeah, what's another boomer named Walter?
Yeah, I feel like there's vastly less people that actually accomplished that and more people that were behind the movement of trying to do it, because it's very unrealistic to be able to buy a business. Like it's really challenging. And I know some people that have done it and they were successful at it, but like the challenge, I've talked to some of these like baby boomer business owners that are retiring and they're like, well, if I don't get $3 million for this business, why would I sell it to you? Because I'm going to make $500,000 a year sitting here doing nothing, and I'll just keep it for however many years. And then I'll have paid that off, and then I'll just sell it for less. And you're like, that's good logic. Yeah, you're absolutely right. If you can't get what you think you want, then just keep it, because they've got their business set up and they have no debt against it because they've owned it for 30 or 40 years, or they've built it from the ground up. They suffered for 20 years till they started making money. So they don't want to sell it for nothing. Like that idea is like, why don't I just keep it then? Because I'm, at their age of 70 years old or whatever, they're probably barely in it anyways. They have some general manager running it for them. Right. And so they're just like, I'll just keep collecting a check. So I just don't think there's that many businesses available, even though there's a lot of small businesses. Most of them aren't worth owning anyways. And then the ones that are, they're not going to let it go for nothing.
Yeah, no way. And I think that the biggest challenge, because I do think you can do these acquisitions and make money and do well, but not if you don't know what you're doing. And that's kind of the problem, is there's this whole movement around how it's been so overly simplified, and they think that, oh, yeah, I'm worked at Google, I'm pretty smart, I'm going to buy these blue collar businesses and add value, quote unquote, by adding in like automation, and like doing all these things. I was like, want to know what the actual people that are doing the work don't want? It's your fucking like engineer ass to come in there and be like, yeah, this is the system that we use now. And they're like, no, we use yellow sticky notes, and that's how we keep track of the phone calls. Yep. We've been here for 20 years and you're just the smart kid who just decided to figure out how to get a loan. We're not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And the human element of these things is always completely ignored for some reason. I don't know why.
And that is the biggest challenge of it all.
That's the entire thing, right? Like you can make money doing literally anything if you have a good team, right? You don't even need to have a good product. If you have a good team and you have like a good sales pipeline, you have an offer, as Alex Ramosi puts it, you don't have to have anything else. You can have the worst product ever, or you can overprice the same product as everybody else. And if you have a good sales team, you'll make money, right? You know how to manage people. Look at every solar company. Look at companies like freaking like Anderson Windows. They sell you the same windows you can get at Lowe's for 8 times the price.
Seriously.
But because they have brand recognition and they have a dedicated sales team, they crush it with that.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting business model. The idea, and not just Anderson Windows, but the idea of using third-party contractors to do the install so that you don't have any employees and you'll pay those guys next to nothing because they don't understand the overheads of running a business. And then you use 100% commission-only salespeople.
It's described every roofing company that exists.
Yes. Yeah. But it goes back to what you're saying. It's like having really good marketing and a sales system. And in lieu of having one really good salesperson, have like 100 kind of okay salespeople that in a year they'll burn out and they won't make any money. But the ones that do stick around, they're going to be the ones that make all your money.
Yeah. And that's why you find like the, random eager kid from like Wisconsin to come over and like knock doors for you or do whatever. Right? Just go ahead and fly him out.
That sounds close to home.
No, I'm definitely not making realistic examples. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like the thing that I do like though about residential real estate is if you want to start like making legitimate money, like very realistically, right? Wholesaling houses, it has a skill set. It has like, marketing money has to go into it. Sure. But the ROI that you can get as like a 1 or 2 person operation with arguably very, very little risk and a relatively small knowledge base is insane. Like honestly, and you can do it fast, right? Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of fallen out of graces with people and I don't entirely know why.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. It's like all these other things have gotten people's attention that were like the quick, easy money, no money down kind of schemes or whatever they were, even the buying the business thing. It's like, I think people have that shiny object syndrome, and the idea of building a wholesaling and flipping business that is really good is like not the most favorable way to do it in social media.
Yeah, I think it's because it's kind of hard, right? And there's like so little innovation that's kind of left with wholesaling.
Yeah.
That it's not sexy, right? It's not interesting because a lot of people that would have traditionally been like wholesale real estate people, they're now going towards these private equity or like business acquisitions. And they always have like the same pitches like, well, why would I do that when I can make way more money with this thing that already has like an established operator? They always have like their pitch that they've been sold on, they walk through. And if you're even like a moderate entrepreneur, you can call bullshit right away, but you can see that these young eyes to financial freedom are like sucked in and bought into it. Because I think if you go back 5 years with wholesale real estate, the big marketing thing was like, people with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 checks. And that was huge. And at some point along the way, we decided that those checks aren't cool enough when instead I can get $3 million a year in passive income as long as I can somehow con a bank into giving me a freaking $5 million SBA loan that has an established operator. And then I'm just going to plug in Salesforce to this plumbing business and boom, I just made $1 million. Right? That's literally how they think about these things, I'm pretty sure.
It is, yeah. I do think so. And it's like the most idealistic situation. It's like, well, you should probably pull back a little bit. If the sales pitch is the best scenario, what's the worst case scenario?
And everyone always ignores that. Yeah. People always think that they can't fail. I'm sure there's like a psychological thing with this where you feel like other people can fail, but it'll never happen to you.
Yeah.
Right. Which isn't true. And I will say, talking to our banker, when you're in business for long enough, you eventually get a banker, like a personal banker that kind of like knows you by name and takes you to lunch and goes play golf and stuff. He does a lot of personal loans, like SBA loans. And dude, he just hints at some of the issues that they're facing on that end. And they are constant.
Trying to restructure people's loans, trying to keep them alive, people failing.
And it's always like, oh yeah, so-and-so tried to buy like whatever kind of business. And he's talked about pretty much every business you can think of under the sun, right? And they're all failing because the operators don't know the hell they're doing.
Yeah, they don't. Or it's just small business is hard, dude.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Like there's that element where no matter what, even if you're good at what you're doing, like the actual physical product you're selling, it's still hard. You still have to be able to get that product or service in front of the right people that need it when they need it, whatever that is. Like if you're selling donuts, like you gotta, like it's hard work to go sell donuts to people, especially if you're a mobile donut truck, right? Like you got to go to where people buy donuts. That's hard work.
Well, that's why I don't do food-based industries, Dan. I only do blue collar business, trade style businesses that do between $2 to $7 million a year and are in the Sun Belt because those are recession proof.
And that I can place software and an operator in place, and I will be the sole board member that just collects checks. You know what? I will say this, and then we can get off this topic because we are running long and ranting. But we have a great friend in the Scale community who bought a large business, manufacturing business, and is probably one of the smartest guys I know. And I truly believe like will be successful no matter what in this situation. But even in the business he bought, then they merged with another large business to become one of the biggest in their city. They're in massive lawsuits because the guy they merged with is trying to basically steal the business, you know, and I'm summing up a more complex situation, but basically like, no, I don't want this. I'm going to just take over the business and kick you guys out. It's like, wow, that's crazy. And that's coming from a dude who did it the right way.
And I would say is one of the most calculated people that I've ever met.
Absolutely.
100%.
Always seems to make a pretty damn good decision, regardless of the bad situation he's in or good situation. And so it's like, even that is like a good example of doing it the right way, and things get complicated because business is complicated because it does involve people, and you can't always know what people's reactions or actions are going to be at the next stage of their operation or life.
Yeah. And the human element always gets ignored in business. I don't know why. Right. That's one of the things that I would say you don't fully understand until you're in it.
Yeah.
You know, you can try to prepare for it. You can read about it. You can learn about it. You can listen to podcasts. But until you're actually having to like manage people and their lives and their dramas, you know, and like inspire people that are not fully bought into your dream and your vision because they just want to make money and go home and play with their kids or watch Netflix or do whatever. You don't understand the challenge of doing that over a long period of time, which I would say is the hardest thing to do in any business, period. 100%.
I mean, as business owners, I think you and I would say 99% of our conversations like off, like privately are about people.
Always.
You know, like,
because none of the rest of it matters.
We're never like, let's break down this system and talk about it. You know?
No, because once your business is making money, you have the system. Like you already know, like what you need is you need people to fill those seats. And another thing too, with a lot of business people, they don't understand is when you're buying those businesses, the seat that you're taking away that needs to be filled by somebody, and that probably needs to be you.
Yeah.
Right. And not only that, but that person that you bought the business from, more like the not, if it was a small business, if any of the key people in that business left, they were able to fill that seat. You need to be able to do the same thing.
100%.
Right. You know, and if you don't have that ability, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Anyways, we got on a tangent on that, but I don't know. Something I'm thinking about because I feel like residential real estate right now is probably one of the best places that you can make like decent money because you can buy discounted assets. Right. There's currently an abundance of sellers, right? There is not an abundance of buyers, but that actually tells me there's an opportunity there if you're willing to either be a buyer or you can make those connections with the good buyers because it's a very, very small club. And if you can join it, you'll be successful. And there's an abundance of opportunity because there's literally hundreds of millions of houses in the United States.
Lots of them. And a lot of them are really shitty.
Yeah. The return on ad spend you can make with a system that you can literally just like hire someone to do for you. Whether it's like hiring a cold calling company or a direct mail company, and all you have to do is get comfortable talking to people. You can make a industry-wide seems to be kind of between a 5 and 8x return on ad spend.
That's pretty cool.
Like, why would you do that? You don't have to develop anything. You don't have to like invent a product. You don't have to do a bunch of social media and build a following. You can do it as nobody. It's so easy.
No better time, I think, to be in this business. Because it is like a struggle bus for a lot of the lazy people and a lot of the people that shouldn't be here. But from a business fundamental standpoint, a lot of the systems are matured that you can just buy off the shelf. And there's a lot of established operators that have shared the real business model, not the sales pitchy, like, come join my group and you'll make $1 billion. Like, no, like the real people out there operating, like it's very established and you can just literally plug and play now.
Totally.
I mean, it's so much easier and quick. Like you can turn the system on like a car overnight. Like, boop, just buy all the things you need, go to town.
Yeah. And people will say like, well, I don't have money. I don't want to spend money. Well, you're going to spend money regardless of what you do. And if you go and you get an SBA loan and you spend the bank's money, right? That's still money you're spending. It's just money you're spending in the future because you're paying them to get that money right now. So just don't do that. Anyways. All right, guys, we'll go and hit up Dylan. Let him know that you miss him. And that you're looking forward to listening to him next week. So thanks, everybody. Have a good one. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
See ya.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want more from us, you can shoot us a follow on Instagram. I am at Mike_invest. Dan is at InvestorManDan. And Dylan is at Dylan_does_deals. Shoot us a follow and send us a DM to let us know what you think of the show.